Housing. The Falkland Islands population has been steadily increasing in recent years, which consequently has put further demand on housing development, particularly in Stanley, both for the contractor and local pools.
There's been a housing shortage for years, and that's why we've done so much building. That's why previous assemblies started Sapper Hill, because we desperately needed that. If we go further back, we had the East End of Town development. Each one of these was thought to answer the requirements for housing for many years to come. And they've been a success because it's enabled government to build more accommodation for contractors and local people, but it's also enabled young islanders, not so young islanders, to buy some land, subsidised land, and build their own house. And that is hugely important. The demand grows continuously, and some of that is growing in a need for houses in the local pool, but it's also, as we increase the number of civil servants that we deem we need to employ to progress the economy, particularly of the islands, and do all sorts of work, we need to provide accommodation from those additional contractors. And of course, the demand for plots for people to buy their own house and build their own house is there. And that's why we hope to develop, what we are going to develop, the Bennet's Paddock, and that's been our next project.
Last year, the Planning and Building Committee gave the green light to build new residential housing on Bennet's Paddock. The site contains remnants of both a British WW2 camp and an Argentinian defensive position from the 1982 conflict. More recently, archaeologists studied the area to find a live 105 mortar shell, which had to be destroyed by EOD, and as a direct consequence, demining firm Safelane Global were called to survey the site.
We investigated over 800 targets. So the majority of the targets, as you would expect, was debris from the old military site, and from some Argentine positions from the 82 war. So there were some trenches there, but there was a lot of pipe work, that sort of thing, from the World War II barracks. We did find 3 items of ordnance, along with hundreds and hundreds of small arms ammunition. But those items of ordnance that were found are in a safe condition. The 3 items found were unfired, 2 of them were unfired 105mm high explosive rounds, and 1 was a Argentine rifle grenade, also unfired. After digging over 800 targets on the site and only finding some safe to move items, that the area is probably quite low risk.
The site comprises of 12.7 hectares of open land and will be divided into an estimated 70 individual plots for housing, which is part of the Falkland Islands development plan to deliver at least 362 homes over the planned period.
It's been a small delay, but it's vitally important. It's something we didn't anticipate. We thought, well, there wouldn't be much there, but once you start looking, then clearly there was evidence there was ordnance there, and it was right that we then engaged with Safelane to do a formal assessment and remove any ordnance that was there for safety. So we had to do that. But in the big picture, it hasn't delayed things much, because the problem with COVID and everything else has perhaps put more delays than anything else. And we hope to have the Diamond Jubilee Road tarmacked by December, hopefully. The next loops, well, the next phases are actually developing the site itself. It will start with a southern loop, if I want to use that word, and it may well be that we have to release those sites, those plots, so people can start developing before we've actually tarmacked the road. So the road will be into that part of the estate, but it might not be tarmacked. We just don't know about the tarmacking for next year. But things are going very well on that.